Okay, so last session we started learning about Bootstrap. So we learned about the Bootstrap, few options like Bootstrap containers, and we learned about Bootstrap box model, how to design them. So Bootstrap containers and box model, what are the classes available and how to handle them? You started practicing, everyone? Installed successfully, working a Bootstrap, right? Good. So next important, now after understanding the Bootstrap models, we need to know about contextual colors. Already we know contextual colors for text and background. Contextual colors, how to apply through Bootstrap. These are very common for other situations also. Contextual colors for text and background. For text, what we have to do, text, we have the classes text hyphen contextual. You know what is the meaning of contextual, right? Contextual means we have to give primary, secondary, success, danger, warning, info, dark, all light, all these comes under contextual. This is to apply color for text. You can apply color for text by using contextual. Text contextual. That means how to apply. So we need to write like this: text slash hyphen text hyphen primary. Like this, we have to apply. Background is simple: BG contextual. BG contextual. That means we can apply like BG primary, like BG danger, BG warning, BG success, like this. So for foreground color, we have to use text. For background color, we have to use BG. The background and foreground colors. So these are contextual colors. Again, these are simple. The contextual colors, how they work. So this is text color and this is background color. Anywhere you can apply this. For example, suppose we have this home and this is the page. Yeah, so now in this we have to set some background color and all. Then I will remove these rounded things. So if I want to apply background for the paragraph, so then you can simply put here BG. So BG hyphen any contextual color. Contextual color like primary. That means it will be background primary. BG primary. So that will apply the background color primary. It will apply the background color primary. If you want to change the text color, what we have to do? Text some light, or text we have white. So our text success, text danger, all these classes we can apply. So it will be like this. Background and foreground colors we can change by using these options, text and BG. Next, in Bootstrap we have display. Bootstrap display. Bootstrap display also simple. Already we know display, no need to explain. Display inline, display grid. So here how we apply display effects. So to apply display effects in Bootstrap, very simple. We have to use D, class D. We have to use the class D for display. This is display. That is D for display. And the attributes will be there. So attributes, so we can write like D flex. We can write like D grid. So we have like D inline. So we have like D none. These are display options. And already we know that display flex, how to display grid rows and columns also I will show you. Actually, grid styles, how to display. Here, when you are applying flex, you can apply options like flex. You can apply the classes like flex wrap. We can apply like flex wrap, right? Flex wrap. We can apply like yes, these people, they can't wait, excited over. Like we have the options like justify content, and you know other options. You have center, we have between, right? Directly you can apply the classes now. Apply the classes now. And we have options, all those. If you have inline, then obviously you will have block na, all those options, right? Yeah. So in the notes, I will give you all attributes. No need to explain all attributes again, right? You know all the attributes of display. I will just show you what are the class here. No need to explain what is display, how many attributes are there in display. Then it is time waste of learning CSS. You know in CSS what attributes are available. Here you need to just know the class name, right? Now tell me here, suppose I want to keep any content. I want to keep any content exactly center on page. Suppose we have a div. We have a div. And in this div, we are defining another div container. Okay. And here we have some form or heading or something. Suppose let's keep a form. And in that, we are displaying options like data list. So data term, username, data definition, input type text, and the data term. So this is password, and data definition, input type password. And we have a button, so login. Now I want to keep this exactly center on page. That means we want to display that login exactly center on page. Now you know how to give the attributes now. So can I give to this div na? We can give to that div. What are the attributes we need? Classes. Class. To keep center any content, what we learned? We have to use display flex. That means how to keep display flex in Bootstrap? D flex. After that, center. That means justify content center. After that, align items center. Align item center. After that, we need to define the height. If I have to define the height, so here we have to add a style, because height limited options are there. I will show you. So that means here we define some height, style height. is height as some 400 pixel. Now you can see, so the content will appear on center. Everything similar. That is general display options. No need to tell all attributes to you. I just will give you the list of all attributes because you know already all attributes. So here you need to just understand how to keep the classes. What is the class name? That is only the point you need to know, right? So syntax, here we have deflex class, like deflex. We have like justify content center, align items center, like this. Suppose we want to wrap the boxes, then we use like this div. We have a class, we have deflex, and we can have flex wrap. We can have flex wrap. Already flex wrap have an option called wrap, no wrap attributes that directly we apply through the class. These are all display related options. But here one more option is there. So bootstrap rows and columns. If you want to arrange into rows and columns in Bootstrap, we have the classes called .row. It is for row, configures a row. We have col, so defines a column, and you can configure the column. Means by default it will take some width. How many number of columns we can give in a row? You know how many columns we can distribute in a grid? 12 columns. Then it will be like col 1 to col 12. That means the size of column. Size of column is defined in this way. These are simple options. If you want to arrange the content in row and column, then this is the easy option to configure. So how to arrange that? How we can configure that? Let's see. That means how to define it. So this example also I will post into classroom above. Okay. Next, here rows and columns is simple. Actually, suppose we are designing some data list. Heading I will give as some product details. And in this we have a data list with the data term. In that we have name, data definition. So we have some name, and the data term price, and data definition some price. And very important here is the terms stock. Terms and definitions by default have some appearance. You can see by default terms and definitions, you see terms are bold. By default terms are bold. That means already there are some effects defined for terms and definitions in Bootstrap CSS file, original file. That means which file we are using? Bootstrap CSS file. You can see. Let's go into node modules, Bootstrap dist CSS. This is the Bootstrap CSS file. See, this is the code. And you can see, so you can see it is having thousands of lines of code. Means already 10,000 lines code is there. Already everything is configured. And you see, you can search here. Suppose I go Control F for find. In the find box, you can search for data terms, DT. You can see so many found. You can see for data term, font weight is 700, means already it is bold. And every data definition, margin bottom some space. REM means with related to root element, right? Already we learned units na. EM is for based on the elements, element and root element. These units I told you that we have absolute units, we have relative units. Relative units two are there, EM and REM, root element based on element size. So the point is already they are having some effects. So due to that, what happens, directly it will apply, and configure. Now see, I want to arrange this into rows and columns. I want to arrange in 2 columns. Then earlier we have to write for data list, we need to put display as grid. After that, what we have to do, grid template columns, grid template columns. Here we have to write fractions, 3 fractions and 9 fractions, like that we have to define. But now see how we can do that. For data list, this data list must arrange information in row. That means class is row. That's it. Now in that, so data term, all data terms must occupy 3 columns. That means for every data term, class is call 3. Call 3. That means we are defining column 3. For all terms, it is column 3. All terms, column 3. For all rows, all definitions, it should be how much then? It should be column 9. Out of 12, we have to distribute. That means all definitions are set to column 9. All definitions are given with column 9. Then it will arrange that information into rows and columns. That is how it defines the content into rows and columns. That means we have to just apply the class row and we have to define the class columns. So for example, suppose this is one just layout. Let's create one layout and see. This is okay. I will give this example. This is okay. But layout we will see. Layout means, suppose I want like header, under the header 3 columns, again footer. So then we will put a div. And for this div, I will use class as row. Okay. And in this, what happens now? For example, I defined a div. And in this, class is equal to call. If I use call, it will adjust entire content. Suppose here I am defining, so 3 columns. Suppose I want to display 3 columns. Then this is one column, another class, this is another column. If I give like this, then what happens? These 2 columns will be evenly distributed. 6, evenly distributed. You don't need to give the number. If you just give call, they are evenly distributed. Suppose now we will put some paragraph inside them. So we will put some paragraph inside them. So one column, one paragraph, another column, another paragraph. This is one paragraph in one column. This is another paragraph. This is another paragraph in another column. Now you can see they distribute evenly. That means we have a row and we have 2 columns distributed evenly. We can configure them evenly. Suppose what we have defined is, suppose we are adding another column in the row, then it will get 3 columns now and display. It arranges everything evenly. For example, left column I want less, then left column I given as 3. So center column I given as 6 and last column I given as 3, right? Then it will display in this way. left column, center column, right column, it will display. So this is one row. And very important, above I am creating another div. And here we are defining class as row. In this, we will create another div. This is the class I am giving as call. That means how many columns will be there in the above row. Above row is having only one column. And we kept a heading, some Amazon shopping, something. And I want to apply, so the class as text center, it will give center. Now you can see it will be like this. I want to apply some background for this row. Then we can use BG, some danger, then text white. So these will be applied for the content. That means every row we can design with row class. Every column we can design with call class. If you give call, then what will happen? It will take the width according to the content. So if you give number, it will fit to that particular number. So you can create such layout. Suppose now at the bottom, I want a footer again. Then what we have to do? After this row is finished, that row is finished, we need to add class. We need to add another row. In that row, what we have to define? So another div. So here we need to put a column. And in that we have some div, and we kept ampersand copy. So 2021, something like this, suppose copyright. And for this row, again, I am giving BG danger and the text white. And you can see this is the last row. So that will display the content in the last row and show. Bottom, it will come. Alignment, you know, na? That means what we have to do, text center. Text center class, it will keep the alignment center. That means it is keeping the content in center. So every row can be designed with row class, and columns in the row are defined by using call class. So that means we can create a layout like this. Syntactically, layout is designed like this. Example I will give you, but syntactically we write like this. Div, we will put class, this is row. In this we have a div, so with class call. That means now this is having row end here, div. That means this is, so this is single column. That is single column. Again, we have a div class as row. And in that we have div class as call. This is column 1. And we have another div. So class as call. And this is another call 2 div. And here we are defining a div. That means row with 2 columns we are having. So now we have 2 rows with first row single column, second row 2 columns. Similarly, you can have column numbers and all. This is arranging information into rows and columns. Next. That is display grid and all, display how columns and display inline blocks. You can use all with these classes. Next important is positions. No need to explain here. So position is applied by using dot position class. And what attributes will be there, you know. What are the attributes? Dot position hyphen it will be like static. Position will be like absolute, and position will be like relative, and position will be like fixed, and position will be like sticky. These are the positions so configured. How do we define the positions? And obviously, if you are giving the positions, then you know that positions require top, left, right, like attributes to configure. So here, generally, suppose I take some paragraph, okay, and let's put some heading here. Already we know here we have some heading, some paragraph. Yeah, I'm copying some paragraph here, and in between we have some, so HTML tutorial. Okay, after that some more paragraphs are there, and another like CSS examples, and some more paragraphs are there like this. Now what we are doing here is this is the content available. That is the content available. Now for HTML tutorial class, so BG, I said BG dark. Dark is black, and the text white. And I will give position. Position sticky. Then we need to say top. Top where? So we have top 0. That means actually top, only 3 options will be there. Top or left or right. We have these options. So generally, when you give top, that means we can give top, we can give 0, we can give 50, and we can give 100 only. If you want at any another position, you have to write manually. There are only 3 positions: top 0, top 50, top 100. That means top 100 will be absolute bottom, 50 will be in the middle, and 0 will be at the top. Absolute top, right? Similarly, you can define the options like right. Right is defined by using position sticky. So that is position sticky. Here we have to use end. Already I told you that in the new version, left and right are changed to S. Start 0. This is start 50, and start 100. In old versions, we used to use left 0, left 50. Now right is changed to end 0, and end 50, and end 100. Similarly, you have options like bottom 0, and we have bottom 50, and bottom 100. These are the positions required to give fixed sticky positions. Absolute positions require top, left, right positions to configure, that we have to define by using this technique. Using this one. So that is the positions, how we configure and define. Now, once I give that here, the position I configured as the top. So top I am giving as 0, top 0. Okay, the same I will add these classes for CSS also. Now you can see these classes are applied. Now you can scroll here. When it reaches top, then it will stick there, and it will be there. No need to explain what is sticky, what is fixed, and all these. Just you need to know the classes. How do we use the classes? What are the classes? Just only that point you have to know. right? So we know positions also. So example for this, suppose I will copy this again. No need to copy, just a syntax is enough. Syntax, you have to write like this: heading. For heading, we will keep a class called position sticky, and top 0, and bg dark, and text white. That's it. So here some HTML and heading close. That is how the positions are configured. Positions are defined. Right. And what about floating? Floating, so we have the same class like float left, float start, and we have float end. Float start and float end. No need to tell anything about that. You know already. Float start is left, float end is right. You can just apply the class float left and right. Next, text alignments. So that is also nothing to discuss much. Text alignments, we have like class text left. We have like text center. So we have like text right. We have like text justify. These are text alignments. These are also general things we know already. So these classes. So what about width and height? For width and height, we have options. For width and height is simple. We have W class for width. W is having 25. So we have W50 and W75 and W100. That is width. For height also same. H25. So H50, H75. So and H100 like this. That is configuring the width and height. Defining width and height. So these are basic classes. For example, suppose I have a image. So we can put a class simply W100. Width will be 100. We can put the class here as H25. So height will be set to 25. But make sure that the container also is 25 above. Otherwise, it will not display. Suppose you want to apply for button, you can put a class called W100. You can apply for any element you want. So width, height, how you want to configure. But these are standard values. Remember, there is no width W30, W35, 34. Only these values are there. Other values will not work. So if you want anything else width, you write manually. So if you are looking for any of these, then use them. So there is no other number. There is no other number. That means you cannot try W10, W14 like that. It will not work. So for example, suppose I'm configuring anything like, so we have a container. So div, okay. And class, so container fluid. In this, suppose we have a button. Say register is the button. Now you can see that is the button. And suppose I want this button. So register, register user. Now I want this button to fit the window complete. That means how much window is there. That, for example, this I kept in a container. In a container, this container is having the class as W50. That means 50% of window it will be there. And for that, I will also give border and border. So we say some danger. Okay. Now I am adding border and border danger for that like this. And I have a padding. So some P4 padding 4. It will be padding also applied for that. Now see the button. So for button, I am using class as W100. W100, it will fit according to the container. This is percentage, how much container is. That means if the container is suppose 75. If the container is 75, then button also changes to 75. So it depends how much you want. So button, I want only 50 of the size. Then we can keep W50. We can configure like this. So that is the option. Earlier in old versions, we used to have the options. We used to have the options display block, display fixed like that. Means separate classes to keep them adjusted 100% width. So, but now they are applied by using directly W and H classes. So we apply by using W and H those options. So width and height, these are simple. These are the options to configure. So these are all general options in CSS. But main concept is in Bootstrap, they designed classes component based. This is okay. So that means what you learned in CSS, you can apply through classes. But what extra they have given here is components. That is important for us. These, so nobody need to explain also. If you know CSS, so alignments, indentation, spacing, so height, width, display, you just go visit the website. You will see the list of classes. By seeing them, you can apply. Nobody need to even explain about them. Now, what you need to learn correctly here is not these very much. These already you can handle. No need to explain also. What you have to learn here is, that is very important. We call them as bootstrap components. Bootstrap components. The major option is bootstrap components. This is the major thing in Bootstrap. Others are already you learned in CSS. Bootstrap components are nothing but these components. They design the components classes according to the requirements. For example, you are designing table. Then for table colors, height, width, and effects and all, you have to apply some CSS. But what Bootstrap people have done is, they given separate classes for tables. They given separate classes for images. They given separate classes for content like buttons. They given separate classes for buttons. They given separate classes for forms. So that means we call them as components. So that makes Bootstrap more special. That means when you are designing forms, when you are designing buttons, when you are designing tables, they have separate classes for you. This is important in Bootstrap. Other things never tough for us, because already we know CSS, just class names we need to understand. In Bootstrap components, so the important components we have to learn now. So many are there. The first important, so is, there is no order. We are learning situation based. There is no order that this is first, this is second. So one important component we have alerts. Alerts. In the Bootstrap components, we will see one by one all the components. So Bootstrap alerts. For alerts, Bootstrap provided classes called alert, And they provided classes like alert danger, or you can simply say that alert contextual, right? So alert contextual. Contextual means success, primary, danger, and all these things are there. Alert and alert contextual. What is the specialty about alert? First, I will give a small point here. That means alert, it will display embedded dialogue. It will display embedded dialogue in page. Embedded dialogue in page. You can control dynamically. Alert will display embedded dialogue in page. You can control dynamically. For that, we need these classes: alert, alert contextual. And generally, alert have some more options, like we have alert text. Alert text. We have like alert link, alert links. So we have like alert title. These are some classes for alert. The point is you need to understand how to use them, how to work with them. Now remember, so for every component, so these are classes. So these are CSS classes. These are CSS classes. Okay. Now you also have jQuery attributes. jQuery attributes, which are important for components actually. And jQuery attributes, we have data attribute is data BS dismiss. Data BS dismiss. So data BS toggle. Data BS target. These are some jQuery attributes. All we don't use every time. Situation wise, I will tell you. Actually, data dismiss is used to close. So that means it defines close functionality. So it is used to close. And the data BS toggle. So it defines the component to use. It defines the component to use. And data BS target, it defines the ID of referred component. These you will see, then you can understand. As of now, just see the options. Data BS dismiss, data BS toggle, data BS target. So data BS parent. These are some jQuery attributes. So defines the parent element, parent component. These are not used everywhere. Situation wise, we will use these attributes. How they work, I will show you. These are important for components. To control the components, these are very important. Now, let's see here. What is alert? What is the main concept of alert? How it works? How the alerts are used? See. So I will go to the design page and make sure that this time, make sure that all the scripts are there. So because now interactions are handled by using these scripts only. If the scripts are missing, you cannot work. So now make sure that all these scripts are there. So here I'm keeping a heading as alerts. Okay, here I will create a div. In the div, I will put a heading. So the heading says that delete record. Okay. After that, I will put a paragraph. So in the paragraph, I will keep as so selected record will be deleted. This message we are displaying, and we will put an anchor, and anchor we will say help. Okay. And href is some initially empty hash we have configured. Later we can give some page names and all. Now usually this looks like this, that is delete record. So selected record will be deleted and all. Now see how we can give a appearance for this. The div which contains all that information. So in that div, I am using a class called alert. I'm using a class called alert. Okay. Now immediately when I put alert, so some indentation happened, means some gap, left margin, right margin happened. So because you can observe that heading is here, this alert is here, means some margins adjusted. Okay. Now we will put here alert contextual, alert danger, because we are trying to delete the record message, we are showing delete danger. Then it will display like this. That means that is the alert displaying the record like this. That means it will have by default border, by default background, by default shading, everything. Suppose I am changing this so as success, then it will have a different color. I'm using like danger, then it will display like this. Remember, still you haven't learned any JavaScript. If you learn JavaScript, then you can pop up this on button click. You can handle that. Currently, we are just learning how to design alert. Our concept is designing now. How to make it functional in a perfect way. For that, you need some programming. You need to learn JavaScript, jQuery for that. But still some programming will work here. That is what jQuery can control. But only up to certain extent it can handle. See, now this is the heading. I will put a class here. We can put an alert. So we can put an alert as we can say title. We can put title. And you have this class. We can put an alert as what? Text. Alert as text. We can put alert text. This you can put a class as alert as what? Link. We can define them. Now usually it looks everything same. That means colors will be same. Text color, font color, everything will be similar. This is the appearance, how you configured, how you defined the options for them. Now the point is, this is closable also. If you want to make it closable, that means user can see that message and close that. Generally, we have another class called here. We have alert dismissible. Alert dismissible allow you to close the alerts. That means you can make the alert to close dynamically. After user watches the message, he can close. So dismissible. So see here we are writing. So alert dismissible. Alert dismissible. After giving that, you can see initially nothing is there here, because to close we need to put some button, close button, right? And you see in Bootstrap, so here above that heading I am adding a button. And in Bootstrap, close buttons have a special class called btn close. That is new in the latest version of Bootstrap. In old versions it is different again. In the new version of Bootstrap, btn close is a new class for close buttons. And you can see If I apply btn close, then close button will be right side corner. Its placement will be right side. It will have a cross mark. Remember, old version Bootstrap different. They have to write a symbol. They have to write an icon for that. So this here just one class, btn close. That's it. That means it is going to put a close button in the right side corner. But this is not going to work. It is not going to work. To make it work, we need to add attribute now. That means see, this button click should close this alert. Then to close, there is a jQuery attribute called dismiss, data BS dismiss. Which component to dismiss? Which component to dismiss? You have to tell. Which component alert have to dismiss. So on this button, you have to just write data BS dismiss. Data BS dismiss, dismiss, dismiss. Dismiss what? Dismiss alert. That means it will dismiss that current alert. It will dismiss that current alert. Now I will save this here. Data BS dismiss alert. Actually, what happens now? So when user clicks on this close button, then it will close. That's it. It closes. Now how to open again? That's what you need jQuery. That's what you need JavaScript. By default, it opens in page loading, but that you decide in JavaScript when to open it on button click or some option selection that you have to write with JavaScript and jQuery. Whenever page loads, it is there. And you click on this close button, that means it is closed. It is not just only close button. You can suppose see here, I added another button and say OK. For buttons, we can give different appearance. You see OK button is there. For buttons, we can give different appearance. Later, I will show you that. Suppose on OK also, I should close. Then same. For that, we have to use data BS dismiss. Which one to dismiss? Alert. So that means now OK button also works for closing that, closing that. I can click OK. I can click that close option. It can close. That is simple. In alert, you can put anything. You can put because that is a div. You can put anything inside it. So, but important, this is embedded. That means it is a part of page. It will not pop up out of page. It will not come out of the page. How to make it come out of the page, we will see. For that, other components are there. So alert is used for embedded dialogues. Inside the page, dialogue is embedded. In that you can show some message, and if user wants, user can close. User can close. For that, this is the basic class we need to apply. So these alerts are very important later when you are learning JavaScript and jQuery. So presentations, right? So syntactically, we write like this. So we have a div, we have a class called alert. So we have an alert danger, something like this. And here alert dismissible, alert dismissible. These are important. After that, you can put any content inside it. You can put any content inside it. Suppose you want a close button for this. That means we have button class as btn close. And actually for this close button, you have to add an jQuery attribute, data BS dismiss alert. That's it. And you put some text here. So your title. So here your text. So your text. So here your links. So anything you want, you can configure them. Usually for this, we have a class called alert link. We have the class called alert text. We have the class called alert title like this. Optional, those are optional. Without that also, it's fine. Already I told you, don't depend on the help given in the Visual Studio Code, right? That is just a support up to certain extent only. So alerts are used for displaying such embedded contents and showing some embedded contents. Right. We cannot directly learn complex things. That is the reason I'm not discussing in any order, alphabetical order or something. I'm giving according to learning order, which will be easy, right? First learn this, then you can understand another thing easily, like that. So after alerts, second important is about buttons. Buttons. For buttons, what are the classes provided by Bootstrap? For buttons, Bootstrap have classes like BTN. BTN is the base class. You know what is the meaning of base class? Meaning of base class is it must be there for every button whenever you want to apply. And extended classes we have BTN, BTN contextual. Contextual means colors, primary, secondary, danger, so like that. So this is button and button contextual. And we have BTN SM, this is small, and BTN LG, this is large size, button size, button small and button large. BTN SM and BTN LG small, large size. But how to apply, I will show you. We can configure that. Actually, so we have so many categories here. This is general classes. These are general classes. Now we have several other classes. So like we have BTN outline, contextual, BTN outline contextual. So we have BTN link, BTN close, BTN toolbar. So BTN group, like this, we have some options. So primary, button link, button close, button toolbar, button groups are important. Situation wise, I will show you how we can manage them and see. Actually, for buttons, let me put in one place to understand. I will just give here. So heading button base classes, base button base. Here I am adding a button. Here I will say insert. I will have another button update and another button delete, something. Insert, update, delete. We have three buttons there. Now the appearance for buttons, you see all buttons will have a class base is BTN. Then BTN primary. Okay. Now another class we have BTN and BTN success. And we are having another class BTN and BTN danger, like this. These are contextual. And the button appearances will be like this now. So predefined. So we have a insert, we have update, we have delete, just contextual colors. We can have contextual colors like this, or you also have outline style. Another is button outline. Outline is nothing but same, just what we apply is, instead of BTN primary, we can say outline primary. So we can say outline success. We can say outline danger. Now outline buttons will display like this. In that mouse over, they will display the colors. These are outline buttons. We have ready-made outline buttons for that. Outline buttons will be in this way. Mouse over, they will display like this. So ordinary buttons and outline buttons. But if buttons belong to similar type of functionality, then we have an habit of making them as a button group. We have an habit of making as a button group. Button group means, suppose you see all these three buttons are looking like independent now. All these three look like independent. But what you can do is you can design a div and in the div put those buttons. For the div, you can apply a class called BTN group. BTN group. So when you say BTN group, all these buttons will be displayed as a group like this. Group means no space between them. They are combined. You can use the same color or you can use different colors for that. That means it looks like a group. A group of buttons are configured. And usually you can also design a button toolbar. You see, so button toolbar. Actually, button toolbar contains collection of button groups. For example, you have a div and this div is having a class BTN toolbar. We are having BTN toolbar. And in this button toolbar, I will put BG danger. BG danger. Okay. In this toolbar, I am designing a div. This is one group. Class is equal to one group is BTN group. BTN group. Below that, another div, and this is another group. Another div, and this is another group. That means we are giving class as BTN group. These are two button groups. And suppose in the left group, we have a button. So this is home. We have a button. So like about something. And yeah, we have another button like contact. Okay. Now in another group, we have button like register. Or we have another button like search. Something like this we are having. We can put icons, anything you want, you can configure them. And see, all these buttons have a class as BTN, BTN, and BTN danger. All the buttons are having same. And the button toolbar is also having background danger. And we have two groups here. Then you see button toolbar looks like this now. It will look like this. Now, what happens is this, suppose we have like login and that login and search is another group actually. Login and search is another group. Now, this toolbar can have justify content. You know, na? Justify content what? Between. Justify content between. Then two groups are there. One group will be right, another group will be left. That's simple alignments. So we can configure the groups, we can define. And of course, you can put the symbols now. For home, we have a span and class. So BI, so and BI house. That means you can put the symbol there and it will get that symbol and display that. So we have BI house. For that, bootstrap icons there. Icons there na. House is there. House is there. Bootstrap house. Okay, that symbol will come. That icon will be displayed. That means you can add the effects and you can configure the effects. Now, what is the difference is this is group and this is a toolbar. Button toolbar. So that means it combines all the contents in one line you can display. And we can also have generally alignments for the button groups. That means you can give a button group. So this can be button group vertical also. Button group can, by default, button group is horizontal. We have button group vertical. Vertical means one below another. That means it will keep in a block style. All the buttons will be defined one below another. By default, group will display one beside another. So you can give button group vertical. That means here there is a button group here. So I can give BTN group vertical. Button group vertical, you can see it will display the buttons in a vertical align. That means for the button group I am defining, it will keep vertical. We have a vertical alignment and we have horizontal. Default it is horizontal. We can give a vertical alignment for that. So that for that we have to just use button vertical. And link, close, these are contextual. So these are like contextual means situation wise. For example, suppose I am defining here another heading, say miscellaneous. So that is a link button. Here we are adding, suppose, a button, and I said some sign in. Usually it looks like a button. So, but I want to make it look like a link, but it is a button only, look like a link. Then we can simply make it as class BTN and BTN link. BTN link will make it look like a link button, but it's not hyperlink. It is a button, looks like a link. That means it will function like a button. Usually for sign in, register, like things, we don't put link. What is difference between link and button? Link will navigate. Button will perform a functionality. Because when user clicks sign in, it should not simply navigate. It should verify username is correct, password is correct. Then if correct, navigate to success page. If wrong, then navigate to error page. Such logic you have to handle. So only link is not correct. Then you have to define a button, but it should look like a link just for user sake. For then we can use such appearances. We can use button link. Button close already I showed you. BTN close already I showed you. BTN close, what will happen? If I put a button and I put a class as BTN close. If I put BTN close, then automatically the button will be like close. But it will not have any functionality. Those functionalities we have to write according to the component you are placing it in. So this is the combination of buttons. So buttons will have a small, large size. That means BTN SM, that is small size button. LG, large size button. You see insert button size reduce. Now delete button I am giving as BTN LG, that is large. That means the button size increases. So we have a normal, we have a small, and we have large buttons. These are the appearance for the buttons, how you can keep the appearance for buttons. These are all the classes used for buttons. So that makes buttons appear correctly. Earlier, we used to have extra classes like BTN, block and all. Now we don't have them. Earlier, people who used Bootstrap previous versions, that means majority, 99% people who are not aware of Bootstrap 5, they know some more classes which are not required now. Suppose if I want to adjust the button complete, then earlier people have to use a option called BTN block. We used to have BTN block. BTN block will keep the complete end to end. But how to keep end to end without block already we learned. How to keep the button occupy entire line width. For that, what you have to do? So you don't need to do anything extra, right? So here I will put here, suppose block button. So then block button is, you have button. So I written as back to top. something like this. And here I am using class BG, a BTN and BTN dark, and it looks like this. So it looks like this. And what we have done here is just we defined W100. Earlier people have to use BTN block. Now W100. Now W100 will keep the width to 100%. It will fit like this. It will keep to 100%. That means it will display in this way. So earlier you remembered, to design such screen, we used a div, background colors and center alignments and all. Now only these two classes are enough, which can keep everything in a simple way. Right? These are all the button related options. That means how you can configure the buttons and display them. This example I will give all the button styles and all options what we have done, right? So we have alerts and we have buttons. Similarly, other elements are there. How to handle them, that we will see in the next session. Tomorrow we will continue, right? So because now complexity is growing. So that means now in the next levels, more complex things will come. So you need immediate practice, right? If you don't practice, you leave it for 2 days and say later I will practice, then gone. You cannot catch up because so many complex things will come now. So you just started knowing 1-2 attributes. Now the complexity will grow. That means you need immediate practice of every concept. Then we can design some real world screens with the help of these things. Then we will get more clarity on understanding, right? Then tomorrow we will continue. Mostly this Sunday also we will have session, right? This Sunday also we'll have session. Mostly I will let you know tomorrow the timings are about that, right? Tomorrow we will tomorrow I will clarify whether we will have or not, right? Mostly 99% we will have Sunday, so that if we can spend little more time on Sunday, we can finish Bootstrap early, then we can go into JavaScript. We can start working with JavaScript. Once you start JavaScript, so then you can parallelly attend some advanced technologies that will help you. So that means once we start JavaScript early, then you can parallelly attend like Angular, React, like technologies you can parallelly attend, and it will be helpful for you, right? So we will continue tomorrow, right? Yeah.